Okay, I'm back here. Had a phone call in the middle of my discourse, so I have to restart this video, or rather continue it. But what I was saying was, at the end, before I was interrupted, was that whites, generally speaking, are going to have an idea where they address all the good of the things that happen in their race. But they literally put in a box, seal up, buried deep at the heart of the earth somewhere, everything that is truly bad. And not just bad, we're talking atrociously bad. There's no way to sugarcoat slavery or anything else this way. Um, in fact, I'll give you another more valid example. Many people talk about the ruthlessness of England, so much so that the United States had to gain its independence through the Revolutionary War against England. However, let me point out something that's actually very littly stated about England. The United States, as we know, said that, through politics, that the end of slavery officially was in 1865 in the United States. Anyone have any idea when England got rid of slavery? Ruthless England. I mean, we need to get away from them. They're ruthless, they're horrible. Did you know that England got rid of slavery in 1807 after trying to do so for at least 40, 50 years? This is ruthless England, by the way. And yet they got rid of slavery a full 55 years and plus before the United States of America, who say we lead the way in getting rid of slavery. How do we come up with that? We come up with it because of the white matrix. It can make up things and it can exclude things. It's a false reality that they live by. So, to continue on my discourse with the Black history, these multiracial and other slaves were victimized for all of these years. The kind of policies that are introduced, as many people have heard, are Jim Crow, sharecropping. I touched on it in my last video also with Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan introduced a so-called war on drugs that despite drugs going down in America, consistently going down, uh, drugs were introduced into the black community, and that put a war on drugs, which was a war on people of color. Bill Clinton continued it by putting three strikes in and you're out. So that means something that you put in your own body, which is protected by the Constitution, by the way, was not something that you're protected to, especially not exclusively in the black communities, predominantly black communities. So now a person who smoked three times a week may very well find themselves in prison for the rest of their lives. A dad, a mom, down the line, child, doesn't matter. And so, despite being victimized that entire time, 400 plus years, despite all of that, they're called criminals for maybe self medicating, maybe themselves trying to deal with their post traumatic syndrome that they're suffering through. Think about that for a moment. The next time you see that person who Yes, they can be extremely ignorant. Yes, they can be extremely lackadaisical. They can be extremely very bad with their behavior. Consider what they had to go through to get to where they are in this country. I know it's not something that we all like to think about. We all want to think of America as a place that is inclusive of so many people around the world, but it's just a white matrix lie. And so I'm going to make a second video also about this because it seems like my time is kind of extending right now. And I'm going to make another video on this today and to show you in the run up of why I say that blacks need reparations in this country and how that would resolve almost all of the white matrix problems that we have in this country. And if anything else, whether you like what I have to say or not, you have to acknowledge two things. One, that you can't dispute what I'm saying is true or not. It's true. And number two, you can call this my idea, but I can back it up with definitive data showing that if there is a solution to the problem, if people believe, even if there isn't one actuality, if people believe that there's a solution to the problem, it psychologically changes and alters their demeanor, their dispositions, their hope, their religions, their the way they treat people. It psychologically changes that when you feel that you have hope or you have an expectation of something. So for no other reason, I'm asking for you to indulge your time and your effort and to allow me to actually bring this proof to you. I will talk about this in the next video. Until then, shalom.